Hey guys, brand new podcast. Tour dates. I am on this weekend. I'm in New York, Boston, back in Boston, DC on the 3rd and the 4th. But this is dropping November 5th because I should probably say what other. I have like Cleveland's coming up, Rocket Mortgage, Chicago. I have forgotten my tour dates because I've stopped doing promos. Minneapolis, Rockford, Illinois, Cleveland, Chicago, St. Louis, Detroit, and Milwaukee. Those are the dates coming up. The reason this is coming out right now is that my buddy Nick Kroll, I say buddy, I met him a couple times, but we had a great conversation, and I met him a long time ago. I haven't really seen him since then. Well, we should start this over. This is already coming off like he broke up with me. Fuck it. This is Nick Kroll is on the podcast today. Oh, fucking idiot. I met him a long time ago. I've always liked him. I'm a huge fan of his work. And his TV show, Big Mouth, is streaming right now on Netflix. It is season 5. Season 5? He has got an amazing cast. He's got Jason, John Mulaney, Maya Rudolph, Jesse Klein, Nick Kroll. It is such a great show, Big Mouth. It really is fucking hilarious. I watched, we were talking about Nick Kroll. He's such an amazing performer in everything he does. And this is a great conversation. My only hope is that it was longer, but he wanted to spend time with his family, and I can't blame him because I wanted to spend time with mine because I go on the road tonight. I leave for DC. So I hope you enjoy the conversation. I hope to get him back and do more podcasts with him because he really is a fucking phenomenal conversationalist. And he's very intelligent. He said a few words I didn't understand really totally. And I was like, I wish I could ask him, but I felt weird going, what's Seminole mean? I thought he was talking about the team. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, my friend. Go check out his show, Big Mouth, streaming right now on Netflix, Nick Kroll. Do you do voice to text or do you do
voice memo or
the voice memo?
I do voice to text, although I probably should just do voice memo.
Voice memos, I swear to God, this is how it goes. Ready? I can talk to you like right now, and I don't have to think about the words I have to say.
Yeah.
The second I put my phone in my mouth, it's, I won't meet. Fuck, God damn it. All of us need to be there.
Yeah. I weirdly, though, when I do a voice memo, I will now be like, hey, Bert, I'm running late to the podcast period. I hope to see you soon. ! Like, yeah, even with that, I'm still auto-dictating.
I put dashes in real life. I put dashes everywhere.
I never learned grammar, so I don't know like how to write like punctuation wise. Is that
I was an English major, and so in a weird way, I was not a stickler for grammar. But once you learned it right, you're like okay, and so learned it right. But let's start over. No, but I put dashes everywhere for whatever fucking reason. And it never puts the dash. It just says dash.
Yes.
And my cousin Andrew, everyone thought his name was Andrew Dash. So I was like, Nick, this is Andrew Dash. And
I have the same thing. I have trouble with quotations. Like you'll be like, talk to Bert and he said, quote, let's do lunch tomorrow. And then you'd want to do the close quote. Maybe you have to say close quote.
I think you can just do quote again.
Yeah, no. And then I don't know. Why don't I just write it, or why don't I just use a voice memo?
I started FaceTiming people.
You're not FaceTiming a lot.
I just FaceTime you, and then if I want to talk to you, right?
Yeah.
Like if I go, I actually want him on the phone right now. I throw a FaceTime.
Really?
And then hey, it's Bert.
Do you make phone calls ever?
No, I don't. I FaceTime everybody.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I specifically Hey, Austin, can you let them know we're doing a podcast in here? I was wondering what the fuck that was. Holy shit.
Oh, a game?
We're setting up.
That's very
We're
funny.
setting up, that's my gym in there, and we're setting up a sound bar. Thank God. I can't fucking hear a thing anymore. I have it on 100. I'm trying to watch Big Mouth this morning, and and by the way, Netflix, I can't get subtitles on it.
What?
I couldn't get subtitles on Netflix today. I'm like sitting here going, how did I not get subtitles?
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't get subtitles.
I'll call Tom Netflix.
ESPN, same thing. Can't get subtitles. Maybe it's that TV, or maybe I haven't figured it out. on ESPN, if you back it up 10 seconds, it'll give you subtitles for 10 seconds because it assumes you didn't understand what they said. So it gives you subtitles, but then subtitles run out.
I was watching, like barely, but watching Monday Night Football with Peyton and Eli. Have you watched it all yet?
I haven't.
It's just like Peyton just chatting away and Eli just kind of like giving you that sweet Peyton, or that Eli kind of, you know.
Dude, Peyton Manning's dad, Archie Manning,
Yeah.
is playing at Tennessee. And not Tennessee. Where did he play?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Playing at Ole Miss. His buddies say, let's go out and have a beer. And he says, no, thanks. I'm going to go home and have a steak with my dad. He gets home early so he can have a steak with his dad. And his dad has taken a shotgun and blown his brains out. Archie Manning then decides, this is hard, this is rough, but this isn't something my mom and sister need to see. He cleans up his dad. He takes the mattress and the bed and the sheeting. He takes it out back and he lights it on fire. And then he sits with his dad until his mom and sisters come home. He said, Dad's passed away. What fucking kind of man? They don't make men like that anymore. I couldn't be that guy.
No, but and with all due love and respect to the Manning family, are we sure that Archie didn't kill his father and covered it up? With true all due, all due love and respect. I mean, because that would be a great way to be like, I was trying to be a gentleman, and spare my sister and
my dad found out his dad died when he was 13 years old, and he was just like, all right, guess I got to take care of myself, take care of my mom. Like, I'm not that man.
No,
I am such a soft boy.
Well, it's I've never figured out quite how to talk about it on stage, but it's like I do think that like feelings are very new. Like being able to have feelings and express your feelings. Like it's a very new concept. Like they used to just like, well, I think I'll just bury that deep in a cave inside of me and just drink it, soak it up with booze, and like that will be how I will handle this.
I did that. I definitely have done that. I've definitely done that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it said, I got cheated on by a girl that I was dating for like 5 years, and my buddy said, hey man, I don't know how to tell you how to fix what you're feeling, but I can tell you that if you drink, that feeling gets lesser. And I went, all right, I'll just do that. I actually made that decision. I said, that sounds like doable.
Right.
I can do that. I don't know the other things.
What a good friend.
Mike Osborne.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll see him in Tennessee.
Shout out to Mike.
Shout out to Ozzy.
Shout out to Ozzy.
Did you wait? How? I'm assuming you're a guy that's been in therapy.
Oh yeah.
How old were you first got into therapy?
I got.
You seem like you seem like a guy who's got a old school dad and a very loving mom.
I have a loving mom and a slightly old school dad, but ultimately a pretty like loving dad. I'm definitely not like the dad on Big Mouth is a very, very soft, like little soft daddy. But my parents I have very nice, like loving parents. But I got into therapy in my 20s, and then stopped for a little while. But I got into therapy in my 20s because I just like couldn't complete things. Like I couldn't like I remember walking around with like my phone bill paid, like written and with the check in my backpack, and I'd walk around with like for like 3-4 weeks and never mail it. Do you know what I mean? Like like that feeling of like procrastination. Like I would do something but just never do it. And I was like, I gotta go to therapy and a bunch of other shit. But that was like I was like, I need to figure out how to like be I think it was like, how do I become an adult? Did you go to therapy? Did you?
I first went to therapy. My parents split up when I was 21.
Mm-hmm.
I went to one therapy session, and I was like, nah, this is for weak people.
Mm-hmm.
And then met my wife, and she was like, you are very broken. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, you got issues with like a lot of things that are not healthy, and they're rearing their head everywhere, and you don't see that the person you look like sometimes. And like I would get angry when I was watching Friends, and I loved Friends, but I would get angry. I was just total contrarian to just about anything anyone said. And I think it had a lot of things to do with a lack of a smash of success at the beginning of my career, and then a lack of it for like a period. And she put me into therapy, and I kind of fought it at first. And then when I was like I turned 40, I was like, oh, I'm really fucked up. And and I got into therapy for real. I've been in therapy for a while, and I like. It's funny to me that there's a stigma about it.
Yeah,
I've never I don't understand that stigma.
I similarly, I'm just like, there's just no downside to it. There's no downside to like
Yeah.
taking time at whatever it is every week or every other, however you do it, to just like talk to someone who has no, because like you're like, well, I talk to my friends, I'll talk to my wife, or I talk to my family. It's like, no, they all have skin in the game. Even if they mean well, they just you're paying someone to have to like talk through stuff with, and ultimately that's beneficial. And I think the stigma is like it's for weak people or whatever. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think it's for people who like who are strong people who want to be better.
Yeah.
That's how I have tread. My therapist is awesome. She looks
Interesting.
Yeah. You have a male therapist.
Oh, that was one of my issues.
Really? How so? Wait. Yeah.
Dude, I am so fucked up. I had a female therapist who was not that attractive.
Mhm.
And I just assumed, I said to her one time, I said, I think I'm done with therapy. And she was like, I don't think you are. And this is a clear point that I needed more therapy.
You're like,
and
you wanna fuck.
I was like, you probably want to have sex with me. So I go, let me explain it to you this way. If I was with a dime every day, I had an opportunity to hang out with a beautiful woman, I would find a way to make sure that we continue that relationship. And that's what's happening here. And she was like, you think I'm attracted to you? And I was like, you're definitely attracted to me. I was like, I'm way more attractive than you. I'm certain you're attracted to me. And I go, and the fact that you can't be honest about that means that you're not being honest with me in my therapy. And she was like, huh? She was like, and I was like, I was like, I need a man.
But I love that you consider yourself a male dime.
Oh yeah. Oh, at the time I was. I could pull up a picture. Pull up Bert Skinny. By the way, at the time, I was actually fucking hot.
Yeah.
I was actually hot. And I was like, and I was legit attractive.
Could you just Google Skinny Bert?
Skinny Bert Kreischer. Yeah, Skinny Bert might be.
There he is.
No, here we go. Pull
Hold
up the one
on.
there we go. To the left.
There.
Top left.
Look at that. There's a
top
dime.
right. Top right is me.
Top right. I see that.
That other one's Bobby Kelly.
That's right. Bobby Kelly was a dime, wasn't he?
He was a dime. He was a gorgeous man.
Look at that, Bert.
Yeah. And so
That's very funny.
I walked into a meeting at ICM
Uh-huh.
and the guy, and I remember I had just one agent who was brutally honest. And he's like, oh, wait, so you lost weight? And he's like, I guess your career's over, huh? I was like, huh? And he's like, what are you going to talk about? Spin class on stage? And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I don't have anything to talk about. So I gained weight and I got a career.
Wow. Did you wait? And so, but I'm still stuck on the fact that you told your therapist that you wanted to fuck.
I've told them, I've said things. See, my thing is I want to deal with a therapist that's to par with me, with intellectually that we can be honest. I'm so fucking honest. I need you to be honest. I remember telling one therapist, I said, it was at his house. I said, this is your house. And I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah. I said, I Zillowed it when I pulled up. And he was like, why would you Zillow my house? And I said, because I want to know what your mortgage is, because I know what I'm paying you. And I want to know if I'm a part of your mortgage payment. And he was like, excuse me? And I was like, I'm going to have problems as long as you have a fucking mortgage, correct? Like, that's how you pay your nut is my problems. And I was like, I want to see an end to this. And I just was a thing of like, I want you to fix it and then I want to get the fuck on.
Right.
And it wasn't until I realized, oh, it's not going to be fixed. I'm always going to be pretty broken and I just need to.
Yeah, it's an ongoing, there's no end to it. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe there is where people are like, I came here for this particular issue.
Yeah.
But my therapist looks a lot like Frances McDormand.
Okay.
And
That's another thing. I'd probably need an attractive female therapist.
and she and I met Frances McDormand one night at like a thing, and it was the year that she won the Oscar for 3 Billboards. And for those of you who don't know, she's great. She's in Fargo. She's the best.
Yeah.
And she's kind of a no nonsense. And so I meet her at this party, and I'm like, Franny. She's trying to walk out of the party. She had a coat over her head. She was trying to sneak out. And I go, Franny, and she looks up and she looks at me, and I had hosted this thing, and she had to know who I was that day. And she's like, oh, and I was like, I got to tell you, you look so much like my therapist. And she looked at me and she goes, all right, well, let's do the work. And she immediately jumped in and she goes, the most powerful thing you can do is say no. And I was like, okay, thanks. And she's like, oh, and this is my husband, who is Ethan Coen, one of the Coen brothers. And I'm like, hi, I'm a huge fan. And it was in the middle of like her Oscar campaign. He goes, really? Like I could feel him sort of like, I'm like, yeah, man. Anyway, so I've taken that to heart. In my one actual minute of therapy with Francis McDormand, was like, there's great power in saying no.
I've never said no.
I don't ever say no either.
I've never said no.
I'm not great at it either.
I'm like, I feel like and I think it's like I got FOMO. Like I have consistent FOMO where if but by the way, can I tell you, all I heard was we are in the same business technically, but we are in totally different sides of this business.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you go, Franny, I was like, how the fuck? And you're like, oh, I hosted this thing. I'm like, hosted? Like I would never be able to host something like that. I would have so much anxiety.
Really?
Yeah, I think. I'm assuming it was like a Golden Globe or something.
It was the Independent Spirit Awards. It was like the day before the it's like it's the little indie one.
Yeah,
which was about what it felt about like I could handle that.
I couldn't host the Oscars. I wouldn't want to host the Oscars. I don't want the scrutiny.
Yeah, I mean that now it seems less and less fun. But
I couldn't host SNL.
You wouldn't?
I couldn't. I'm not saying I wouldn't.
I could.
I'm saying that's where I should say no. That's one of my moments where I should go. I'm sorry.
But don't you think? Isn't it most things where you have like a ton of anxiety and then you do it and you're like, "Fuck, that was great."
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I'd say yes.
Yeah.
But
it would crush you that week, or it would just.
It would be. And for I mean this respectfully to SNL, but for that, the amount of that I would put on that event for me.
Yes.
It's not. It wouldn't be the biggest thing in my career, but it would be for some reason.
Of course. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, anyone who's around our age and in comedy, like it's just one of those things. It's like the thing where you're like, well, no, that is a marker of like I have made some, because you can be in movies, you can do big stand-up shows, but there's something about SNL that there's that thing. I have the same.
Have you hosted SNL?
No.
Okay. Would you?
Totally. I mean, yes, I would.
But
totally.
You probably grew up around those kids, so you're more comfortable.
Well, that's like I grew up in sketch and improv and character-driven stuff, so that's been like.
Oh, you'd murder SNL.
But I don't know about.
You would murder SNL.
I would feel a tremendous amount of pressure doing it similarly, but I think that's like, I don't know. I think that's what makes us comedians, like, is that you're like, oh, I'll say yes to that, but it'll be a nightmare leading up to it. And then I'll do it and it will be fun and I'll be glad I did it, but it will also have been a nightmare.
Yeah. I watched Bert host it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember going like, that's when I was like, oh, I can't imagine saying no,
mm-hmm.
but I know that yes would be like oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, this is going to be a lot of stress
the
week of, the day of. Like, I don't get stressed with a special because I know how it's going to go.
Because you've done it so many times.
I've done it for fucking 17 months on the road.
Yeah.
And I've been doing stand-up for 4 years. So I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I'm competent in that. I'd be fine with the monologue. Monologue would be nothing. It would be those sketches where I'm not or at least I've never explored. It would be weird to explore me getting into sketches on SNL.
On SNL. Yeah, like you'd want to go like, maybe I'll go pop by Groundlings for a month and maybe that would be a way to get into it before. But we're all into like, you're playing like fucking arenas. For some people, that would be that would be the scariest thing in the world, is playing like for me, doing shows, like weirdly, it's weird where my metrics are, because I could play like a massive show, but if like
you're on Broadway.
But yeah, but like being back in New York and having my family and friends see that makes me more nervous than like being in front of like, 5,000, 6,000 people.
It's interesting. I think Broadway would be fun.
Broadway,
especially the way you did it with Mulaney.
That was the best. Me and Mulaney doing that on Broadway was the best. That was because that was like hours. It was a 2-man show with the budget of a Broadway show, and we just controlled it entirely. And that was so fun.
Be fun.
That might have been the most. That might have been like, oh, this is like we figured out like the perfect thing where you're doing, you're playing like you're doing a 1,100, 1,200 seat theater every night. You don't ever have to leave. You're not on the road. Every night we had a different guest who was like a hero or someone funny or interesting. And we were writing it still on stage, like how you like write the act. You're kind of, I don't know, I'm assuming you write, do you write it out? Do you write Do you write on stage?
Around stage.
Yeah. So like we were doing that, writing like the third act of the show basically on stage every night until we finished.
Shit.
It was so fun.
What is it about getting in character as an old Jewish man that is so enjoyable to everyone? I just watched Eddie Murphy. They said,
oh my God,
the most fun he ever had was on Coming to America when they put him in that old Jewish
the barber
outfit.
shop.
What is it?
That I mean, fuck, Eddie Murphy doing that is the funniest. I don't know. I think it's fun to be able to like be, you know, for some, like not everybody can be themselves and say the things they want to say on stage.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so like, I think you are very comfortable in who you are.
I think I'm just dumb enough to not know if what I'm saying is upsetting someone. Like I'm a little like blind to like, I thought it was funny. You didn't like it? Yeah. I see what you're saying.
I'm like, ooh, if I'm a character, then I can get away with some of the things that are like my non-filtered statements that give me a little more ability to just like, you know, which I'm trying to figure out how to get better at as a stand-up. Like, just be like, okay, no, it's me, and I'm not going to hide behind like a little, you know, wig and makeup. And can I figure out myself how to say the things that I want to say unfiltered, you know?
Yeah. It's I noticed there was when I saw cancel culture creeping up, that's when I noticed a lot of comics turning to characters.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, because it's not necessarily a safe place, but it's a lot safer. Like you can say the N-word in a Quentin Tarantino movie as a character. The only improv I ever did, I just told someone this. The only improv I ever did was for an audition. And I've done like some stuff or whatever, but I did an audition here in LA, and it was for a TV show about a guy running for governor and in Florida, and I was his like sidekick or whatever the fuck the governor has next to him. And they didn't really have the characters scripted out. They're like, just go with it. And I just played mine racist, and I thought it murdered. And everyone, the second I made him racist, everyone was like, "The fuck you doing?" I was like, "Hey, motherfuckers! I thought it was yes and like the fuck. Why is everyone throwing me under the bus? Like Jesus Christ! Like no one stayed in character. The casting director's last name was a Mexican last name, which who fucking saw that, Tess Sanchez? And so
it didn't play.
It didn't play at all. And I was like, wait. In my head, I was like, you know, I'm not really racist. I'm just playing a character that I think would be funny if he was subtly racist.
Yeah, that has changed from when we started, where it was like, oh, I'm playing a character that's racist, and everyone would be like, oh, that's funny, and now it's changed a bit. So
by the way, this was back when it was acceptable. And I wasn't even that racist. I was just like, hey, make more eye contact with the black people. And he was like, he goes, what? I go, make more eye contact with the black people. You're only looking at the Mexicans. And he was like,
it didn't.
I threw him off.
Really?
And I was like,
did the show go?
No, I didn't even get offered it. Like it was an audition. I fucked up everyone's audition. I fucked up so many auditions. I was horrible auditioning.
That was not your strong suit?
Not at all. I can sell a TV show with my eyes closed. I couldn't even tell you how many TV shows I've sold. I legit would have to say around 100 TV shows. I've sold so many TV shows that it was I could do it in my sleep. And I have a knack for branding and naming, and so it was very easy. And none of them were a few of them were sitcoms. I sold a number of sitcoms, maybe 7 sitcoms, and then I came out. The person who taught me how to sell TV shows was Will Smith, though. So I left that part out. Yeah, and so I could.
How did that happen?
He discovered me when I was working the door at the Boston Comedy Club
in New York.
In New York, yeah. His team discovered me. They brought me to him, and then he brought me into a room and showed me, I'll show you the magic. Technically, this is what you do when you go into a room.
Can I ask you a question? Is that how you get your watch? Like charge it? Is that
no? I was just readjusting it.
Oh, okay.
I'm fat and it sticks on my arm. Yeah.
Because I feel like someone was like, "Oh yeah, you shake it to like recharge or read."
With these, that is how it works. But you just walking around is how it charges.
Nice.
Yeah. You don't have a watch?
I don't have a watch. I got one. Actually, Mulaney got me a watch for my 40th, but I don't wear it ever.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 43.
Nice. Did you go to his intervention?
I hosted it.
It sounded like it was so good. He
Yeah.
talked about it on Seth Meyers. I was like,
Yeah.
man, I wish I was sober. I would have loved to have been there.
It was a hot crew. Yeah.
Oh, how long have you known Mulaney?
I've known him since college. He and I were, I was like a senior and he was a freshman. I cast him in the improv group. So I've known him forever.
Whoever saw him as being the fucking wild card? Did you?
Oh yeah. You know
Really?
the people you've known forever. You just know the people you know. Like, come on, the people you come up with. Like, you know where everybody started, where they came from. You know,
Really? I mean, he said something. I've talked about this on a number of podcasts. John Mulaney was not the kind of guy that would catch my eye when he was young. It's not. I'm not. I'm looking for the broken toy. Like that's what I'm drawn to. The Farley, Belushi, Artie. That's what I've always been drawn to artistically. And then he said something on Marin where he said, "Oh yeah, I had a problem with cocaine in college. I used to listen to Steely Dan and just do cocaine." And I went, "Oh, this guy's sexy as fuck." I was like, I understood that
Sure.
immediately. Enough drugs and Steely Dan is talking to you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I went, "Oh fuck."
Yeah. No, it's those people you come up with. I've known Johnny forever. So it's like, it's, yeah, everybody's going through something, you know. You just never know. You never know with any of your friends people are going through it, especially the last couple of years. People are fucking going through it.
Yeah. I think mine's been less chemicals and more anxiety, and just like I've had
always anxiety, or
anxiety's been a big thing in my life throughout my entire life. Yeah. I not rearing its head where you'd think it would. On the simplest things, it rears its head. Like lines.
Saying lines?
Nope. Standing in lines.
Oh, standing in lines.
Lines.
Really?
Yeah. Balloons, clowns.
Really?
And then
maybe you were molested online for the circus.
I used to have a joke that clowns should have to whisper their secrets into balloons, so when you pop them, you'd hear them, but they'd all just go, "I was molested by a clown." I now it's gotten to public spaces, not theaters, but like lots of people.
Is that based around your like fame?
No, that's coronavirus. Coronavirus. It morphed into being around a lot of people, because there is a thing that happens, and I'm obviously I'm saying this out loud to everyone listening. People, when you are famous, people, they want to close the space very quickly.
Sure.
And I consistently end up against a wall with people surrounding me.
Right.
And it makes me fucking crazy.
Right. And also you give off like you know, like I'm a loose, fun, like let's fucking get after kind of guy.
I was for a very long time, and when coronavirus hit, I started having very big anxiety about getting coronavirus. And and I wanted my distance from people, and it was something. I mean, I used to go to bars. I would do a show for like 3,000 people, do 2 shows a night, and I'd tell everyone where I was going to go drink.
Wow.
And then they would all meet me there, and it would be packed, and they'd all have their shirts off. I'd have my shirt off, and we would just be around each other.
Just like a bunch of seals.
Just like, it was awesome. It was so much fun. And I just take pictures. I would just take pictures all night long. And then when coronavirus kicked in, my daughter was the first one. She's like, "Dad, you're a honeypot for this disease." She's like, "You got to stop doing these meet and greets." And so I haven't done one since, the pandemic. The last one I did was in Boston right before stay-at-home orders.
Right. Like early March?
March 13th, I think.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And I did it. I went out in a hazmat suit as a joke.
Right.
And then I take it off and I'm taking pictures of everyone. And my agent was like, "Hey man, I think you got to stop."
Yeah. Yeah. And so and you have not done one since.
I haven't done one since. I do small meet and greets after the shows now, but it's just for people that know me or people that, but like I've gotten pretty bad about it. Like I don't let people out of the bus.
Yeah. I mean, it's real. I mean, it's like and I think especially I can understand for someone like you who is like, yeah, let's all get after it together.
And I don't like pushing people away.
Right.
So if someone asks for a picture, I always accommodate.
Right.
But it's every accommodation is me at some point in the night going, God damn it, man, that guy kind of spit in my eye. It's a real one.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, because I do feel like it's like my buddy Jason Mantzoukas, who's
Who is that?
Who is it? He's on the. I mean, he's been in a ton of shit.
Pull him up. I saw his name.
You'll see his face and you'll know
I saw
him.
his name today on Big Mouth.
On Big Mouth, yeah, he plays Jay on Big Mouth. He was Rafi on The League. He's on like every sitcom. He's on like.
I know who that guy is.
Yeah, okay. So he played. He's one of my dear buddies. He was on on The League. He plays this character named Rafi, who's like a maniac, a true like menace, and it's a very, very funny character. And when people like, but in real life, he's like a massive germaphobe, and he's pretty OCD, and now with coronavirus, it's like off the charts. But like even before that, he was just like, but when we'd go out, like every Rafi in the friend group, the guy was like, I'm a fucking mess. Like, come on,
Yeah.
They would go straight at him, and he was just like, and it's like this crazy thing where, because he's like, I know I play that character, but in reality, I don't want to, like, if he never had to shake my hand, he would be thrilled.
Wow, that's interesting. I was never that bad.
Yeah.
But I was definitely, when coronavirus started and we all stayed inside, I sensed a shift in my personality.
Yeah.
With the amount of things I touched, how often I touched my face.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big finger licker. Like I'm a thing. That's
things
who I
are
am.
tasty. Things are tasty. You want to taste them again.
It's fun. I've gotten a lot better at my house. Like I'm fine around my house. I'm fine with people coming over. Like I was bad with people coming over.
Sure.
During coronavirus, and I'm getting better. I'm getting more loose. Like we've been doing meet and greets. We did one in Atlanta. It was like fucking chaos in there, and I was looking at my team. I was like, did anyone take the fucking memo?
Yeah.
And it was like just everyone, and it's like all Atlanta, so no vaxxers. You would be the funnest anti-vaxxer.
I would.
Oh, just if you came out and you're like, listen, guys.
I was like, look, I'm doing my own research.
Yeah, I just want to wait until the fucking cards settle. I'm cool with trans people, but just as vaccine shit.
I like, by the way, that you've stuck with coronavirus. You've not made the move to COVID. You've stuck with coronavirus.
Am I saying the wrong one?
No, I like that you've just like, most people moved off corona at some point. You're like, no, I'm sticking with coronavirus.
Yeah.
COVID overrated as a name. Coronavirus is there's something kind of sexier to it than COVID.
I wouldn't mind calling it novel coronavirus. Novels, novel's the real word.
Right. That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's a novel. Yes. How does it, but you're back. I'm on the road now, but not a ton. Are you back out?
Bro, I'm back. I just spent 23 days on the road.
In a row.
I go out for 15 days tonight. I'm doing shows. I've added shows Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And if you just got Monday, Tuesday off, I fly to Austin, do a podcast with Tom. And then we'll do 2 podcasts Monday, 2 podcasts Tuesday. And then I fly back. And I'm out. I'm out hardcore until April.
Wow. And then are you going to shoot then? You're just working. You're just on the road till
No,
April.
no. I'll probably do my special in April. I'm guessing. I don't know. I gotta find a place.
Yeah, I was supposed to do it because I had been out on the road. I hadn't gone out like really been like, I'm gonna go out for a long time. And I went out before the pandemic and was like, all right, I'll get ready to shoot it in like last June. I was gonna shoot it, and then obviously pandemic happened, lockdown happened, so it all got pushed. And now I started back like doing shows like probably like June, and then have now been doing like some gigs, and I'm going out a bit now, and I'm playing Carnegie Hall on the 12th, which feels like that is bringing me a ton of anxiety.
Are you worried about selling the tickets or the show?
I was worried about selling tickets, and more than anything, it's like it's hometown. There's something about my hometown, like New York.
Did you grow up in New York?
I grew up in the suburbs outside the city, and so like there's something about that that's stressing me out. And I think it's like just like the idea of like Carnegie Hall, like for a New York kid, it's like there's just something about that venue that is like venerable. It shouldn't be any different than it's another fucking theater.
It's different,
but
it's different.
It is, and I can't explain it. But
no,
it's
you can. I understand it. I understand it. And there's Chicago theater is one of the ones.
Yes.
The Beacon's one of those ones where it just is a little different for you.
And I had not been doing shows much. I was living like in a like upstate with my wife and kid and this summer, and Ali Wong was doing a residency at the Beacon. I was like, well, she's like, you want to come and do a spot? And I was like, sure. And I had not been doing a lot of spots at that moment. And I got on stage at the Beacon, was like,
Yeah.
and I just wasn't quite ready. Like I wasn't you have to get used to like the scope of it. And I just kind of fucking bombed.
I'm treated bomb.
But
when are you filming your special?
I don't know yet. It looks like sometime in the new year. It's like we're trying to figure out a place, with mask mandates and stuff, like where you're like, you don't want to shoot a special. I don't want to shoot. I want to be safe, but I also don't want to have an audience full of people, masked people. You know what I mean?
You want me to tell you where you shoot your special?
Yeah.
By the way, can I just tell you that this is why we're in two different sides of the business. So like I approach a special so globally different than you do.
How
like,
so?
Oh, that's why I'm on the road as much as I am. I'm on the road every weekend because I'm getting ready to shoot a special in fucking 8 months. But like I obsess about it. But number one thing about shooting a special, the number one thing is, and this is Bert Kreischer talking, Joe Rogan will tell you something totally different. You want to shoot it where you're big, but you haven't been.
Yes.
So what I do is I go to I should have.
Where is Bert Kreischer popular?
I'm finding out where you're big.
.com. Wow, how can you got the metrics?
I'm going to tell you. Nick KR. What an interesting name, Kroll.
Kroll. It's I guess Polish, German. It's
Vermont, Rhode Island, Oregon, California, Connecticut.
Really?
Those are your biggest markets.
Really?
Yeah.
You gotta send me whatever that app is.
Oregon would be great for you.
I mean, Portland. I love.
Have you done this hour in Portland?
I have, but again, I did it like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I could go back and shoot
I always want to perform that hour I film for people that have never seen it.
Yes.
And I wanted it to be a market, so I saved certain markets.
Yes.
So I saved Philly for Secret Time. I saved Cleveland for Hey Big Boy. And now I'm trying to figure out where I want to do this one.
Yeah.
But
you're booking all these dates and cities. But
I'm holding a couple.
You're holding a couple.
Like
back.
Omaha, Nebraska is one of my favorite places.
Really? I've never performed there.
Oh, it's such a great comedy. It's such a great comedy fucking town.
Really?
It's yeah. And I think people would think because it's Omaha, because it's Nebraska.
Sure.
It's not. It has been a huge comedy town because of this woman, Colleen, who ran the Funny Bone and always brought great comics in. Big Bob and Tom Market.
Yeah.
So like you got Tosh, you got Berbiglia.
Yeah.
You got all these great comics that came through. Greg Warren.
Yeah.
And so yeah, Omaha is a fucking great town for comedy. Indianapolis is a murderous town for comedy.
I did shows. I'd never been there before, and it was fun. Walked around the zoo.
Oh yeah.
Great day.
Yeah. I get obsessive about a special.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I thought I was getting obsessive. I was like in good shape to like, and then it all kind of.
That's so good though. That's so good because what it does, in my opinion, is, and I feel the same way about my hour that I have right now, is you get it dialed in, you get it tight. Then the pandemic hits, and all of a sudden all that stuff just pulls apart.
Yeah,
and it kind of like loosens up.
Yes, and
then when you take it back on stage. That shit that was boring to you, that you were married to, but it wasn't your favorite stuff. It sifts out, and then all of a sudden it skinnies up.
Yeah,
and I think you're gonna have a fucking banger special on your hands just because of how you were ready when you were ready.
Yeah,
and then getting ready for it again.
Yeah. So but I won't pile up like you do. Like I won't do that many dates at this point. I just can't. I can't do it. I mean, I would.
It's a different.
How old are you? Your kids are older, right?
15, 17.
Okay.
I've done it my whole career.
You've done it your whole career.
Yeah. It's like we didn't know any different because it was just how you paid the bills. It was like you just did the road, and I do some TV here and there, but then the TV was always the road for me. Yeah. So it was on Travel Channel or whatever. Right. And so in a weird way, my kids just don't know any different. And I will be very candid. How old's your child?
Under a year.
Under a year?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't fuck it up. Just spend I fucked it up. Like I spent way too much time on the road. And and we're good as a family. We're tight, but I definitely look at like Tom Segura, who has young children, and I go, man, if I could I didn't have money, it would have been nice.
You had to go make that.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have a little money and not have to do the road as much. but there's a lot I feel like I missed out on.
Yeah, I can feel it even when I'm gone for like a weekend or something. I'm like, oh fuck, he's sitting up now, and like,
Yeah.
I don't want to. So I'm trying to figure out that, navigate it. But I also, like I want to make sure that whatever I make is as good as it can be.
That's the tough thing. Do you find it easier to immerse yourself in something like Big Mouth? More easier than a special because you've got to leave the house and go do stand up for that. And with Big Mouth seems like it's so many fucking laughs per minute, so fucking tight.
Thank you.
So fucking like it's really is incredible.
Thank you very much.
But I just look at that and I go, the amount of time it must it's the work.
It's a tremendous amount of, and it's luckily spread out among. I am not singularly responsible for it at all, which is probably why it's better than some of my other stuff. But it's like I have great partners who work tireless on it, but I also spend a lot of time on it, and it is like it's just a very labor intensive. But it is like labor intensive in a way that is, you could say it's like stand up in that you got to like go out like. But it is like you just chip away at it every day.
Yeah.
The problem is when I'm doing that, it's then like how much gas do you have left in the tank to then go out and run the set at night, and
Zero.
then be like, because it's okay if I'm like, you know what, I worked on Big Mouth today, and I'm gonna go to the store and Improv and Largo and pop out and do spots and like get churn it out, and then you get it ready to go. But then it's like, all right, now I'm working all week on the Big Mouth and whatever else, and then now I gotta go. Now I got to go away for the weekend, or I got to go during the week, and I'm going to check in on my room during the day, zoom in, like all that stuff.
It's fucking
You
tough.
just get, but I do like, I kind of like having a couple different things going on. My brain works best that way. Do you really zone in on stuff?
I can only do one thing at a time.
Really?
Yeah, I thought I used to be able to do more, and I really believed it, and then Bert and Rogan told me that I couldn't. They're like, you're not. I don't know who you're fooling. They're like, you're phoning a lot of shit in. Number one, your stand up.
They had a stand up intervention with you.
They had an intervention at the store. I walked back and I walked in on them talking about me. And
really?
I was like, wait, what are you guys talking about? And they're like, you. And I was like, what? And they're like, your TV show sucks. And I was like, for real? And they're like, yeah, it's bad, man. It's just bad. And your podcast is slacking and your stand up slacking. It's like, if you're gonna pick one, really. And Burr was like, you're only really good at stand up. Like, he was like, you're not like a TV host. Like, I don't know who the fuck you're fooling. And Joe's like, hey man, you're way more interesting as Bert than you are as this Travel Channel host.
Right.
And he was like,
but that really worked for you. That didn't the show really? No.
I made okay money. And I was there for like 9 years, but it was like being a stripper. It was good money comparatively speaking.
Mm-hmm.
It's good money for an American.
Yeah.
It wasn't good money for Hollywood.
Uh-huh.
And it was a ton of work. I've been gone 2 weeks, home a week, gone 2 weeks, home a week.
Dude, that's brutal. That's a brutal schedule.
For 4 years straight, I did gone 2 weeks, home a week, gone 2 weeks, home a week. And then they were like, they told me, they were like, hey, we can help you get money for your podcast and just focus on your podcast. And then luckily I got fired from Travel Channel like a week later.
Really?
I got fired. And so I just was like, well, I guess I'll focus on my podcast. And once I got ready for the Machine special I did, and I was like, oh shit, like I can't wear a bunch of hats. I'm not that brain. I can't keep plates spinning at all. Like I can only focus. And for me, it's compartmentalized. Like, I don't know how it works for you, but with stand up, that's all I think about. I'm free. I don't think about anything other than my hour.
Uh-huh.
But when I do a movie, I'm like, or when I did a movie, I should say.
When is your movie? What's the story with your movie?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, how was that experience for you?
It's the greatest experience of my life.
Really?
I loved it, but turned off stand-up brain entirely.
Yeah.
And was just focused on that one story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And focused on minute performances and like what I would catch other actors doing. Because it was just fucking great. It was such a great, and I never thought I wanted to be an actor at all. But I loved being a producer. I loved every big minute of it, beginning to end. I couldn't have had a better experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I didn't think I would.
You didn't?
No.
That was one of those things where you like said yes, and then you're like, oh fuck, or
said yes, and I was like, I remember just going, I hope I like this,
Yeah.
because I have a feeling this is so like, I'm not saying this to not get cast in anything, anybody, but like sometimes when I'm on a set of a TV show and I'm maybe spray painted in gold spray paint or something, and they're
Yeah.
like, all right, we're gonna reset this. I just start going, I'm wasting my life.
I think for stand-ups, I feel like for stand-ups and now with podcasts on top of it, it's like I'm losing money every day that I remember talking to Burr about it, because I think he started F is for Family like a year or two before Big Mouth. It was around the same time, but I think he had a season in before, and he's like, fucking losing money here. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh wow, right. For you, that like this is like, could be on the road, it could be doing X, Y, and Z, you know. For someone, I guess I would call myself like a hybrid, who's like, I do stand up, but I also do this, that I'm so trained to be like, no, go succeed in TV and film. Like go, like that is how I've been programmed.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to like be like, it's hard to pass that stuff up and make stand up the single priority.
But I have to say this. You are so good. You're so good in front of a camera. You're so good in things that like where and I'm not going to include anyone in this. Where someone like myself, it looks at it and goes like, now knowing how hard it is to get someone to laugh on a screen, to get it from a page to having it done, to then seeing it. Like I really respect certain people. Arsenio Hall. Arsenio Hall is so good. And I don't think I ever paid that much attention to it. But like I started looking at like a long time ago, you did a character, the Canadian kid or something.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about this. I just posted a post on this. We were talking about on the tour bus. And we were watching it. And I was like, I thought that was good then. Now that I've been on screen and I've seen myself on screen, now I know just how good that really is.
Oh, thank you.
Like where you go, that's really good. But you're also great at stand-up. So like I think for guys like me, I won't say Burr, I won't say Joe, I won't say Tom,
Burr.
but our thing has always been stand-up. It was the easiest thing for us to get done. But movies, I had a fucking blast. I would do another movie, but I'd want to make it.
Yeah. I mean, I think there is like a larger, massive shift happening in all of the stuff that we do, in that comedy has been democratized with everything, with podcasts and everything else that, and I think stand-up, it's affected stand-up. So it's like, because it used to be a very clear line of like, you go do stand-up so you can go get your sitcom, so you can go become a movie star or whatever. It's like, it was such a clear like A to B to C. And now that like the market has completely changed, so that there are people who are like moving to Austin. They're like, fuck Hollywood. Why do I need to live in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be an actor. I'm not trying to, and you're like, oh yeah, sure. There you go. That makes perfect sense. I'm still programmed to be like, and not programmed because I enjoy it. I love making animated shows. I like making and acting and things. But I have, since making an animated show where I, write it with my people and friends, and then get into a booth like every every week or two, and for however many hours I needed to be there. But then you're out, like when you go back to set, and a set that you don't control, and even a set that you do control, you are like, you start to be like, man, this is a fucking slog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can I did an anime show once, and I tried to pay to get out of it. I hated it that much. And I played a black guy.
This is a different time.
No, very recent.
Really?
Very recent. Well, it's so funny is they were like, it's a cartoon, right? And so I'm doing I'm not doing any voice. I'm just doing myself. And then I don't even look, but there's like pictures of the other cast up in the booth, like, and myself. There's a black woman and two black kids. And I go, hey, am I playing a black guy in this? And they're like it's a cartoon. And I was like, I know, but everyone's black but me. And they're like, it's a cartoon, man. And I was like, I go, yeah, but do I sound, should I be acting black? And they were like, no, like, it's a cartoon, Bert.
Like, please don't do that.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I'm just wondering, am I fucking up? And they're like, we hired you because we like you. We like the way you're playing the character. And they go, did you know that they were black until you saw their pictures? And I said, no. And they go, it's just voices, man. And they're like, and by the way, they don't even look like people. They're other things.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh,
Okay.
but I didn't enjoy it. I tried to pay to get out of it because I was just like, it wasn't enough money, and it was like so much work.
I mean, we're very lucky.
You're lucky because you're doing it. You're like, it's fun for you.
It is fun. It's very fun, and it's something that I love, and it's very personal in that it is. And I assume it was the same for your movie, where you're like, well, this is my story. So
yes.
There's something. Did you find it therapeutic at all?
I mean, are you asking me if I cried every other day? Yeah, I cried so much.
Are you a crier?
Not until I went to fucking Serbia.
Really?
And by the way, I can't stop crying. I have
Floodgates are open,
dude. I've tapped into being comfortable crying, and I'm just cool with it now. And I cried the very first day. I was like, I got a text from my buddy Miles, and he goes, "Hey man, today's our anniversary for meeting." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Today's our anniversary for me. I met you 27 years ago in Tallahassee." And then someone else texted me, "Hey man, today's the day we went to Russia for the first time." And then I looked, and it was also the day I shot my special, and it was also the day that my Rolling Stone article came out. It was within that same week. All these things had happened to me, and I'm walking to my car to my first day of set, and I just started crying. I go, this week is a very powerful week for me.
Yeah.
My life. And then I was just the whole fucking the dumbest stuff, Nick. Like, because I'm a meathead, so like, there's a scene where Jimmy Tatro goes in the movie, goes, "My name's Bert. I don't go to class much." Started crying, and they were like, "What the fuck are you crying about?" And I was like, "I actually said that." Like,
I'm the same. I'm the same. I've always been a crier, though. I'm I cry like in Lowe's commercials. You know what I mean? I watching Lowe's commercials. I cry all the time.
Yeah.
But that's very. I don't know. It's good.
Do you find doing Big Mouth therapeutic for you?
Yeah, I do. Well, yes. I mean, it's like about kids going through puberty, adolescence, and it's based on me and my buddy. And there's just a lot of shit in there that's like the real shit. Like a lot of the foundational, seminal pun intended. The things that are become the foundation for who you are. So much of it happens to you at 13, 12, 13. So the things that are fucked up, like the things that turn you on, the things that make you feel insecure, like all that shit is built around there. And you carry that, like, I'm in therapy. Like I was carrying stuff in the show. We'd break story in the show, and then I'd go to therapy and talk about it. And then I'd like work through some stuff in therapy and bring it back to the room and be like, I think this is what was going on.
Yeah. I said I have another project, and I said, I'm willing to scrap an hour and just focus on that movie and make it that. Because I think that, or I'd actually said that about a sitcom too. My goal, this is going to sound really bizarre, my goal's always been a multicam.
Yeah.
And I know they're not working right now. I think Miss Pat's is working, but like,
I think it'd be great. I mean, it's I
would love that job.
You feel like built for a multicam.
Dude, I still watch multicams. Like Kevin James just had one on Netflix.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it. I loved it top to bottom. And I was like, I don't feel like it's a multicam. I felt like it was shot great. And I feel like if I did a multicam, I could stop doing stand-up and just focus that material into the multicam.
Sure.
And take my stories there. But I don't know. I don't know.
Did you watch like Golden Girls?
Loved Golden Girls.
Isn't that crazy that we were like little kids and like little boys and we were watching fucking Golden Girls?
Loved. Dude, I watched all of them. I watched Wings.
I watched Wings. I mean, I watched also then on reruns. I was watching like What's Happening. Yep. I was watching The Jeffersons. I was watching Wings. I was watching like fucking Caroline in the City. I was watching, you know what I mean?
Watch Caroline in the City. I remember when I discovered news radio.
Oh God,
and I just moved to New York to start stand up, and it was on A&E, and I thought Andy Dick had hung the moon.
Yeah, everyone on
him
that
and
show.
Phil Hartman.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the crazy thing.
Do you ever fan out on Rogan?
Yeah, I'm the wrong friend for him because I bring up shit he did. where he's like, "Hey man, we're just supposed to hang out." And I was like, "I know, but you got to tell me one more story." Yeah, I fucking News Radio was just
It's
genius.
so funny. And I mean, and Hartman and Dave Full, I mean, everybody in it. It's so I get it. It's been a while. Like, I think there was like, it's not, people have, but it's, a great multi. Again, it's unbelievable that we were like little kids watching a show about a bunch of old ladies in Florida, and none of it, we didn't care. Like, that's the thing is like, now everything feels like, well, that demo is, like you got to make this for this group of people and stuff like that. It's like
so fucked up. What entertains children? My daughters love John Mulaney.
Yeah.
And I go, and in my head, I'm gonna go, it's not written for you, but for whatever reason, they connect with it.
Yeah, totally.
Totally. And it's just, you ever see a fan and you go, you like me?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But you're not what I thought I was writing for.
Totally. But which is great. I mean, that's the dream, right? Is like, the dream is like having people who seem nothing like you being like on board,
Well, wait, we're running up on an hour and I want to get you out of here because you should be a good dad. My kids are at golf practice and
good for you.
Georgia was in the state tournament today.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't mean to say that I'm not going to say anything about female sports, but she's only been playing golf for about 4 months. So I'm not certain that the bar is that high for the female sports in California.
Or you've got an incribly talented,
or
you've got
it's funny that I immediately go, I don't think I have a Tiger Woods, but she was in a state tournament today. I play golf. Yeah, I play golf.
Do you play with her?
I just got surgery, so I haven't been able to hit a golf ball. But I'm hitting golf balls at Fenway Park on Saturday.
What?
Yeah.
You're hitting golf balls at Fenway Park.
Yeah. I think they have I think they set up something.
Fucking cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, they're not playing baseball there right now.
Yeah, they're not. So what is Big Mouth coming out again?
Big Mouth comes out November 5th. I'm not sure when this comes out.
Can we fast track this?
Yeah,
let's bring it out because it's good to have the product with Netflix. It's always good to have the product up on the platform.
Yes.
Big Mouth is so fucking good. And I got to tell you, it is a huge show. And for me, I can kind of check metrics on Netflix based on my own research on how I find things performing. It's such a huge show for that platform.
It's great. I mean, it's still fun. We're writing season 6 now. It takes forever to make. So that comes out the 5th. We're doing a spinoff of Big Mouth called Human Resources that will come out sometime next year. That takes place in the world of the monsters, like the workplace comedy and cool. The hormone monsters and shame wizards and depression kitties and anxiety mosquitoes and love bugs and all that stuff. What I'm like is like, it's as if like Frasier was happening at the same time as Cheers. It'll be great. That'll be a separate show that we're in the process of making now, season 2. And then the thing I'm doing day to day right now is I'm doing we're doing History of the World Part 2. Mel Brooks, the History of the World Part 1, the movie Mel Brooks did in like the early 80s, we're doing as a show for Hulu. So,
shut the fuck up.
Yeah, so it's
History of the World Part 1 was fucking hilarious.
It's a massive movie for me.
Holy cow.
Mel Brooks is like my guy. That's like it's SNL but it's also Mel Brooks. Like his fucking he's asked me to come in and do that. So I'm working on that right now, which is insane. And we will shoot that sometime next year. We're writing it right now. That's crazy.
Holy God. And what's cool about what I always think is cool about you is the people you surround yourself with I always feel are like, it's like you guys are like the Yankees. Like you, like what Big Mouth is you, Jason, Mulaney and Jenny Slate.
She's no longer on the show because she was a white girl voicing a black character, and she stepped away from the show. This woman Io Debris, is super funny stand-up and writer, took over. She was a writer on the show. She's a great stand-up. And then it's Maya Rudolph and Fred Armisen. And
Fred Armisen's so fucking good.
So funny.
His fucking
guitar for or drummers, stand up for drummers. So funny.
Do you know like how many drummers have come up to me and they're like, "That fucking Fred Armisen's amazing."
Yeah, of course.
And
I mean, talk about a demo.
Yeah, talk about a demo, like legit. Because I'll get a lot of rock bands will come to my shows.
Sure, I bet.
And they'll be like, "Dude, have you seen Fred Armisen stand up for drummers?" I'm like, "Yeah, I liked it, but I'm apparently I didn't like it as much as you." And Fred Armisen is such a sweet guy. Here's what I'll say is that and because we said the first time we met, and you are in a different I think a different comedy, more of a scene than I am. And I think we're in different genres. Like I don't really hang out at Largo.
Yeah.
And you can get on both of our scenes, you can get the assholes. Like for us, it's the bros that are like, "Oh, what the fuck's I'm saying this across the board, and I hope everyone's not fucking this isn't real. But what the fuck's Patton doing spots at the OR for?" Like, and you're like, because he's a fucking fantastic comic.
Yes.
Because he's a fucking fantastic comic, and he earned the right to perform there. Go fuck yourself.
Yes.
But you still you definitely get that on the Altier scene
for sure.
Like, "Hey man, just there's some words you can't say here," and you're like, "I haven't said anything yet."
Right. Yes.
And
yes.
But what I will say about you is when I met you for the first time, and I don't know if this is what you were thinking, but you came up to me. I did a spot at the Improv, and you came up to me. You're like, "Hey man, you are very funny," and I was like, "Oh, thank you." And someone came up and they're like, "How do you know Nick Kroll?" I said, "I don't," and they go, "He's fucking hilarious." And I was like, "Really?" And you had just started to pop. You had just started to do things.
I don't. No offense. I don't. I mean, I've always thought you were very funny, but I don't remember that.
And I was like, and the one thing I've always liked about comics is when if they like you, they don't have a problem saying they like you. Like just going up and going, "Hey man, that was great."
Yeah. No, I mean, to me, like there's no competition because there's enough. If you're good, there's enough for you, and there's enough for everybody. And I think I remember meeting you. Maybe this was after that or something. Was Schumer was in LA. This is like 12. I don't know how many years ago, and she was like, "My buddy Bert's coming over."
Oh yeah. That's that tracks.
Yeah, and and I remember you were like, "I got young kid," and like I didn't know many comics with like young kids. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh wow!" And I just remember hanging out with you, and I think you were very funny.
Amy, I used to be very close with Amy. We used to be legit.
Yeah.
Like she would come over and house sit for us when we go on the road, and then like my daughter knew her Georgia and her looked alike.
Oh really?
Yeah, always looked like they had this one outfit it was the same outfit randomly. I haven't talked to her in fucking forever.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, and we all go in different directions and places, and life sort of takes us wherever we go. But it is like I do think there is. I mean, to me, you like it's just that thing when you're like because stand up like for me when I watch comedy for the most part, I'm super bored. I'm not. It's like math. You're just watching. When you're watching another comic, you're just watching. You're like you can appreciate. Like my wife is like you watch comedy, you go, "Oh, that was funny." Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and that is to say something. But also when you see someone perform, whether they're big or not, and you're like, "Oh, that dude's fucking electric on stage." It's undeniable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like that is and I know I'm sure that's what I felt. I saw you perform. I was like, "Oh, well, that's just like this other thing that you don't see." And why not show? It's so much more fun.
It's so much more fun to enjoy people. Like we do it on our tour bus is when we did it with you this weekend because I was like, "Hey, Nick Kroll's on my podcast," and everyone just. I mean, I should have recorded it for you because it would be great to hear in the mornings when you don't feel like getting out of bed. It was comics that I massively respect because I tour with them. All of them telling their favorite thing you ever did, and then us going on and watching them on the screen and fucking. And my cousin Andrew's the best because he's like he really knows about comedy sometimes that we don't know about for whatever reason. He always is like more dialed in. We spent fucking an hour celebrating you, and then I put it on Instagram. I was like, "Hey man, I just thought you should know, Nick, we're celebrating your career."
I didn't even see it.
Yeah, I posted it on stories. Shit. On stories, you're a grown up. You're not on stories.
I'm on. I gotta get it. That's very kind of you. That's very nice. That's a nice way to. That feels very good. That will get me up out of bed in the morning, including also my screaming child will get me up out of bed in the morning.
Have fun with that. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, no, it's been a blast. He's so fucking cute. He's so cute right now. It's like.
Did you give him like a strong first name or like a Aristotle.
No, but we gave him a good. I'm happy with his name. I
Yeah.
have never. I don't know how to navigate like what to talk about or not talk about.
It's better not to talk about your kid.
Okay.
I'll tell you that. I really fucking screwed that pooch. I mean, I remember at one point, the girls came in and there was an issue, or it was an issue. It was something online.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? And then George just looked at me and she goes, what did you expect? And this is like a 15-year-old talking to me.
Right.
And she goes, what did you expect? You've been talking about us in your specials. We're on social media. She was like, and then Isla goes, Dad, I get pictures of dudes I get texts from dudes asking for pictures of my feet 10 times a day. And I was like, are you fucking serious? And she was like, yeah, Dad. And they both had to cancel their Instagram accounts and just have them under like burner accounts.
Well, now I feel bad. I just wanted to see her feet.
I was being a regular person.
Yes.
And then success happened.
Yes.
To me. So I was doing what everyone else does.
Yes.
And then something happened to me. If you can get in front of it, and as you know now, you already have, it's just better to just keep that shit off and just let them be like anonymous people.
Yeah, that's the goal. But it also is like this, which is the plan. But the struggle is being like, well, how do I talk about like if I'm going to be on stage as myself or doing the podcast? Like,
it's tough because I'll tell you right now, personally, I heard something Mulaney said about his unborn child, and I thought it was fucking brilliant. And I was like, ooh, I can't wait for him to have kids. Like, this is gonna be good. Because I know all the angles I saw that I wrote from.
Sure.
I can't wait to see his angle.
Sure.
Like when Burr had his kid and told his first joke about his kid, and I went, ooh.
Yeah.
I never saw that.
Of course.
Like, and I was like, God damn it, I was right there. I held mine too, just like that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
And so it's so much fun watching parents have kids and talk about it on stage. It's just
I've got like a few jokes in there now that because it all happened during the pandemic, and now I'm like so now I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, ooh, maybe, but it's like an addict. I can feel myself. Because like, I'll just talk about
so
when he's just this little blob, and then I'll be done, and then you're like,
oh, I did it. I had one good story about Isla, and it was the first taste I had. She woke me up, and she had her hands closed, and she was sitting on my chest. She goes, guess what's in my hand? And I went, I don't know what's in your hand. And she goes, a punch in the mouth. And hit me. And I went, that's fucking great. I told her on stage and it murdered.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and then blindly I just went through, and anything this kid said, did. I mean, her and her sister were fucking especially if you're watching from a comics perspective.
Yes, yeah.
I could pull stuff out and connect it and be like, this is I'm not even doing any work.
Yeah.
And I did. Then just recently she said something and I went, God damn it. When are these kids going to stop? Like they're fucking, and then it'll, cause kids say amazing, brilliant
things. Would you say
things.
that they say the darndest things?
I wouldn't say the darndest. Most racist. No, that would be a fun show. Kids say the most racist
things.
I've seen that. We have family in Alabama. I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
I would imagine.
I gotta let you get out of here.
All right,
I'll
man.
keep you forever, man. Listen, hey, it's an open invite. If you ever want to do the podcast to promote anything or just hang,
I appreciate it.
An open invite.
And if you ever want to come do a voice, it likely won't be a black person, but
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I would keep that from you, and we'll keep you in and out. Let's do it.
I would love that. I really admire everything you do. I think you're so fucking talented.
Thank you, man.
And above and beyond everything, you are one of the sweetest guys in this business.
Thank you. And the feeling is mutual, and it's been amazing to watch you just get fucking crushing it.
Next time you guys do an intervention for Mulaney, I swear to God, I'll quit drinking for a month leading up. I just want to see how funny it is.
It was not funny.
It wasn't?
No.
Are you serious?
No, it was not funny.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll let him. He's got.
I'll tell you what. How about this? How about this?
He's currently making it funny.
Yeah, I bet he is.
But on the day it was not.
I'll tell you what. When we have my intervention,
yeah,
I'd like you guys to come.
Yeah, I'll come. I'll get your booker. Tell your booker to get me, and I'll come do the. I become.
I would like.
You'd have a killer intervention.
Oh, I would have. I've been to an intervention, and I would have a bananas intervention.
Yeah, you'd have a good. Yeah.
This is my opening thing. Leanne goes, just a bunch of people. We love you, and we think you have a problem. I go, okay. So I guess all this goes away, huh? Huh? Because you think this is going to be here if I wasn't drinking? So this all just goes away. Hey, give me your watch, give me your earrings. Everything comes back to daddy. Daddy's going to Malibu and he's going to keep partying. Oh, fuck, I can't wait for my intervention.
Let me know.
Thanks, Nick.
I'll moderate. Bye. Thanks, man.